That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they did it! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, good afternoon, fam. We are live here on A2 Radio, another edition of the Athlete Spotlight. I'm your host, Steve, being joined by my guest this afternoon, MMA fighter, bare knuckle boxer, jack of all trades, Miss Helen Peralta. Helen, how are we doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All technical issues aside, we're doing great this afternoon, right?
Yeah, I did.
But real quick, just get our sponsor post at the way, and this episode is brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. He's our doc, make him your doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. Specialized Physical Therapy LLC at Burlington, Cherry Hill locations. Find them on the web at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And our poll question of the day is kind of geared to a question I'm going to have to you, Helen, and also I want to be asking to our listeners and fans, should your next fight be in bare knuckle boxing or MMA? I know you've been in bare knuckle boxing. You have some big fights there. Over the, last year's kind of been, a weird time with COVID, a lot of things kind of being rough on a lot of combat sports athletes. You kind of changed gears again there, kind of going back towards Invicta, having securing a big win there. I think it was back in September. Here we are getting ready to change over the year. I've seen you're getting back into training. We just had a big event this past weekend for bare knuckle boxing. Just kind of want to get your thoughts on it, and your thoughts on my poll question here. Are you going to be doing dipping your hats in both pools this year, or are we going to see you strictly in MMA?
To be honest with you, it's not 100% up to me. I want it to be MMA. That's what I've been wanting to. I'm on a 4-month training camp, and these fights keep not sticking. I do have a manager. I don't know why. I hear a lot of people saying, like, I can't believe you don't have a fight. I can get you a fight. Everybody can get me a fight. I sign with them, and then all of a sudden there's no fights. But I do want it to be MMA. MMA is extremely physically demanding. I can do bare knuckle with my eyes closed. Like, literally, I did that for my first fight. But MMA takes so much work because there's so many things that you have to worry about when you do a mixed martial art, especially the grappling part, because anybody can hit people hard. That's what I got going for me. When it comes to grappling, it's very technical, and I recognize that as being one of my weaknesses. So I've been working on that a lot. But it takes a toll on your body. And, I'm 32 years old. I'm not getting any younger. So I wanted to be MMA. I would like to fight. I could fight next weekend if I had a fight. I'm in shape. See, I have pecs now. It's crazy. But all these fights, every time, it's like something always happens. So I wanted to be MMA. But I'm at a point right now when it's very disappointing because I see other people. I'm not hating, but I see all my friends getting fights. And I'm just sitting here unemployed. And sometimes I watch some of these big shows and I think to myself, I could beat both of those bitches on the same night. Give me 10-minute breaks between fight and I'm ready to go. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to find out. I don't shy away from any challenges, and I'm always put my name out on the board. Most of the time, I put my name up when I don't even know who the opponent is. When there's a card with more than one female bout, and if it's my weight class or maybe 125, I always said, if anybody tests positive for COVID, give me a call. I'm on weight. But I'm getting sick of that right now. I've been dieting so hard for like 4 months. This week, I've been a little easier. Like, I've been eating a little bit more carbs because now I'm all the way in Colorado. So I'm struggling to breathe. So I also didn't want to be, out of fuel. So I've been eating a little bit better now. But it's just like, I just want to fight, man. I want it to be MMA. But if I get an offer from bare knuckle, I couldn't turn that down, especially right now. But I wouldn't want to schedule anything like too far ahead. I want to schedule things within the month, so that's easier. So I don't have to put everything on hold for one fight.
I got what you're saying there, and I definitely hear you there. I know what you're talking about. Where when you're in a situation where you see teammates going around you, and they're getting this opportunity, they're getting out that opportunity. Obviously, I'm talking about last weekend. We get to see Paige Van Zandt and Britton Hart headline a bare knuckle boxing event. Probably should have been some other names in there. You know, I respect the fact that they're trying to take advantage of the popularity of Paige, but at the same time, you know, I think me and you were both in the same boat. There should have been other names at the top of that list. But you know, no disrespect to Paige, no disrespect to Britain. You know, had Britain on the show leading up to that fight. But you know, I think me and you are both in the camp where, you know, we would like to see your name in there with someone else. Well, I agree to disagree, right?
Of course, you know. I mean, and I get what they're doing with the whole Page thing. You
Oh,
know.
absolutely.
I'm gonna hate on it. I'm gonna hate on it because I wish it was me. I would have loved to fight Paige, not because she's the hardest fight. I need some fucking money. Okay, I'm broke. Some people are like, why don't you speak? First of all, I put my name out there to fight anybody when it comes to MMA because I want to improve my record. But I don't pick easy fights. All the fights I pick are hard, and the girl on the other side is the one who always has a reason or maybe bichitis. There's this virus going around that's hitting people really hard. It's called bichitis, and they don't want to fight anybody who might beat them. Just like the most remote possibility of the other person winning, that's enough reason for them not to take the fight.
Now,
and that really drives me insane.
Now, saying that, we know obviously Christina Ferreri has been also marching for a rematch with you guys. You were scheduled at some point in time last year. I think it was canceled. I forget. I think one of you guys were hurt or something to that effect. Is that something?
No, it was just the corona. Neither of us were hurt.
Was it? What was that? You were breaking up there at the end.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it wasn't either of us were not hurt. The first time that we were supposed to fight was March 13 or 14, and the fight got canceled like 2 days before the event. We were already at the hotel. All the fighters were there when the event got canceled. Then we had another fight scheduled for June. I want to say June 20 or something like that. Sometime in June last year. I can't remember the exact date. And that one got canceled. And I did not find out through the promotion. I found out through Christine, which made me really mad at the promotion because I have just turned down an MMA fight against this girl who's supposed to be so good. And then I look bad because it looked like I was running from her because then I didn't fight MMA and I didn't fight bare knuckle either. And that fight was like a day after the bare knuckle fight. So obviously I have to turn down the MMA fight because my focus at that time was bare knuckle. Then they said, because I signed for BKFC 11, when I saw that they announced that BKFC 11 was going to take place July 24, I assumed I was going to be on that card because I signed the contract for that card and I started training again. And then I found out that I wasn't on that card. So they had that card without us. And that was kind of like the last draft. And I got really mad and I didn't know what to do. So I decided to get a manager because I thought maybe I'm the one who's fucking up. You know, maybe this is all my fault. Maybe I'm just don't know what I'm doing.
I don't think it was your fault. I think it's a perfect storm of crazy nonsense that is going on in life and in combat sports world and everything in between that falls in there. And another thing is, like, you know, we obviously they have another event coming up here in Biloxi in the middle of March. Is that something, you know, that isn't too far ahead that you could possibly get involved with if obviously the right opportunity comes up with it?
Yeah, well, they haven't contacted me with anything. You know, I was really this fight, the last event that they had, I know that we're pushing Paige hard because she's got a lot of social media followers, but that's pretty much all she's got when it comes to bare knuckle. You know, I don't mean that's a disrespect. I respect anybody that steps in there and put their ego on the line. You know, when you go out there, you have so many people hoping you lose. You know, most of your people that follow you, they're more surveillance than fans. So I get it. You know, so it's nothing to do. I'm not attacking her personally, but when it comes to bare knuckle, they made her the face of the promotion without her even fighting. If you go buy a shirt on their website, it's her face there. So yeah, I was pissed. I didn't want to have to.
Well, no, and I'm with you there. I'm with you
here.
I get that part of it, but I'm with you there that you guys have you should have to earn that place to be the face of a brand. Like, you know, that's an insult for
exactly.
That's an insult to every single one of the women that have already stepped into that ring prior to that, because in that sense that she's stealing something from you guys and she hasn't even stepped foot in there. And it's one of the reasons why, you know, I thought that the promotion was kind of off for doing it. You get why they do it because that's what everyone's flocking towards. But also, if you're going to do it that way, you don't match her up with a girl like Britain. Not to take anything away from Britain, she deserved that opportunity as well. But wouldn't you? I mean, it would make more sense to put her in there with the likes of you, Christine, Beck, somebody, right?
Yeah, it's just to give us something in return, because even with this, the whole reason why they put it against Britney, and I called it a year ago. I'm actually in July. I had an interview, and I said they're gonna have to get creative because they want Paige to win, and the only fight she could possibly win will be against Britney. Nobody else in the division. The moment, I mean, she's definitely not gonna fight Christine, and they don't want to put her against me either. But I'm like, come on, Paige has got more than a decade of experience than I do. She's got way more experience than I do. So why does she need, and I was, the only reason why I wanted to fight her was to get my name out there. To be honest, it's nothing personal. Like, I don't care what anybody does. I just wanted to, because she's so popular. But then the promotion made it more where people who, with a lot of social media followers, get more attention than people who actually fight. So I said, if that's the route you want to go, that's fine with me. I will just go do MMA because I'm actually good at it. I'm a very good MMA fighter. I could be a champion in MMA, glove boxing, kickboxing. I'm a really good striker when there's no takedowns involved. So MMA is the hardest one, and that's why I'm focusing on it. I like to tackle my weaknesses first and then take the easy ride later. So, but again, I'm not. That's why I don't speak much on the subject.
I think that's what I love about what the opportunities that the MMA athlete, the combat sports athlete has today, because 10 years ago, you were literally pigeonholed in like either you were going to be in MMA or you were going to be boxing, or you didn't really see a whole lot of back and forth. And you were also in that unique spot where you also can go to Invicta. Shannon Knapp has kind of an open relationship. She kind of lets a lot of her athletes take advantage of opportunities that is given to them. So, I mean, that's a great thing. And then you also, obviously, having that relationship with Invicta, you are getting a chance to fight some of the best up and coming females in your weight class. So at the same time, where you're sitting there waiting around, like, it's just also when that opportunity comes, I mean, I would just also jump on that, since obviously MMA is what you want to concentrate on, is what you're working the hardest on. Obviously, as you're sitting there saying, you're diligently working on trying to improve your jiu-jitsu, because obviously the jiu-jitsu, people who outside of the sport really don't know, it's the hardest thing to catch up on, because it's not something, no matter how much you're in the gym, it's time. Time is the only thing that's going to make you better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes it's like, this girl, they look like, they look like little angels. And I'm like, I look so tough and I have so much muscle. I go in there, all of a sudden they just climbing all over me and I can't shake them off. I'm like, all right, it's a complete different, martial art. So it's a lot more challenging. So that's why I'm doing it first, because it takes a toll on your body. And bare knuckle, is so easy. Like, it's way easier than MMA. Why was my two bare knuckle fight? If I would have fought MMA those 2 nights, I would have lost, because of how I was feeling. We scheduled this fights ahead of time. You might be feeling great when you have the fight, but then things can happen in between. For my last bare knuckle fight, I couldn't breathe. I don't know what I had, but it was like a bug. I just couldn't get my lungs to take air in. And
here's the thing: we're sitting there talking about that. You might have you probably had COVID, right? We haven't really seen a whole lot of cases of cold. You probably had. I mean, you really think about it, like when we're walking around, like that's pretty much, or a slight cold too. But now, obviously, you're in Colorado, and that's another thing I want to talk about. You already talking about how rough that's been, trying to get used to the breathing and everything up there. Having the chance to have the camp there, does that also kind of help along with that process of being able to take advantage of the altitude up there in Colorado as you're preparing for the camp, and then when you come down to your fight?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've only been here because I was in New Mexico for 4 weeks. Then I drove to Texas for 4 weeks, and then now I'm in Colorado. I got here Sunday at 2 a.m. This is all I'm doing. So yeah, it's been hard to breathe, but I always push through anyways. I do all the rounds. I don't take any breaks. I don't care if I can't breathe. Sometimes I can't speak between rounds because the altitude will really get to you. But I just keep going because it's just, I think about it, what if it was a fight? I'm not just going to take a break in the middle of a round. You just have to keep going. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, we also have a question from one of the guys here in the chat. He wants to know what is your favorite men's and women's MMA fight of all time, and what were your thoughts on the this past Poirier McGregor too? Will we see a third one?
Poirier McGregor. I think it was just Poirier being Poirier. I mean, he was so good. A lot of people want to focus on the fact that McGregor failed, but you cannot say McGregor failed. That's not what happened. Dustin
it's one of these things
was
like
able
kind
to
of
impose his will.
Then he looked a lot like himself, like leading up to that fight. Like when you've seen things before, you would always see leading up to that, he would always be. So there would be things like you could see he the last couple fights, like the boxing match, the Khabib fight, there was things off about him leading up to this fight. He looked back like that Conor himself. It wasn't a facade he was putting on. I just think it was the fact that Dustin's game had caught up to past Conor, and Conor hadn't recognized that. At least in my opinion, I don't know. Yeah, regardless of what happens a third, I don't know if it's going to be any different if they fight a third time. But one thing's for sure, I don't think Conor respected where Dustin's improvement had from the last time they fought, regardless of what he says.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, because I do think he wanted to come back with a bang. But when you put in there with one of the best lightweight in the whole freaking world, because that's what people overlook. It's like, look at who he fought his last 7 fight. He's on a 7-fight winning streak, with the only loss he's got is against Khabib, who is the best lightweight in the entire world. So what did they think was going to happen? It's not like he was fighting Cowboy again. You know what I mean? So what happened, there was like about 90% chance that that's what was going to happen. Dustin was going to win the fight. And if McGregor won that fight, I would have been very impressed for somebody to come back, not needing the money, not needing, he's no longer the lion climbing the mountain. He's already on the mountain. Before he was driven by this idea that he wanted to have money and live better and buy watches and cars and yachts and things. He already has all of that. So if he would have won, that would have been extremely impressive. The fact that he lost, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and the other half of that is he wanted to know who's your favorite men's and women's MMA fights of all time.
That's a very tough question, because almost every weekend I have to change what.
we have to readjust it. Yeah, we have to readjust it constantly.
It just keeps getting better and better, especially on the women's side. The women, it's just like almost every week you have to change it up. So I don't necessarily have a favorite. It would be really hard. I mean, the most recent in my mind will be Joanna, champion.
Which he lost about to win. Yeah,
strawweight champion.
Yeah,
Wayne Lee.
Yeah,
strawweight champion. Man, that was a fight. I mean, those girls were going at it. But that's the fresher one, just because I have to answer this question. But to be honest, I'm not 100% sure that is the one. And then when it comes to the males, I watched so many fights. I could not. Man, I don't think I have a favorite.
Dude, it's so hard to pick one, because I have love for so many different guys. Like, I would be naming off a list, and you're gonna be telling me to chop down that list, and it's gonna be murdering me to get down to the point where I get to one. I don't have there's just there, and there's also errors. Like, when we talk about this too, like there's layers to that question. Like, when we talk about, I think there's also different errors that you have to put into. We have to talk about pride, the whole pride era. That has to be in a totally different category. I mean, there's just so many layers to that question.
And then when you think about it, it could be the greatest performance.
Yeah, I mean, dude, at the end,
for performance or fight.
I mean, you have so many.
Yeah, I think there's a little delay between your video and mine.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a lag. Like, I think you're getting it like 2 or 3 seconds after I finish it.
Yep.
Now, with all your fighting stuff and all that put aside, like, where do you hope to see? Like you said, you don't. This game's rough. You know where you're at in this sport, and this is kind of your time to kind of take advantage of of whatever's going to happen in your combat sports career. If you can write the perfect story, how does the next few years play out for you? Where do you see yourself?
Well, if it was a perfect story, I will have a freaking contract and I'll be fighting next week, or at least get three fights between now and July. At least two, anything. I think with two good fights, like challenging opponents. If I get two good opponents and I beat them, I should be in the UFC. And then from there, I do believe I can be champion. It's not gonna be easy because, man, that girl at 115, I watch her work out and I get tired. It's like, it's crazy. She's so.
I mean, I remember when
I'm still working. I'm still developing my game.
I remember when Rose won the belt, and I thought like she was gonna be able to hang with that thing for a little bit, and then she comes in and I think she had the couple fights there with Joanna, and then she gets it in there against our current champion, and it was just a totally different story. And I'm with you. I don't know who's going to stop that girl, man. She looks very impressive, and I don't know when you're going to find somebody who's going to be able to find the hole in her game, in the positive side, in their game, to kind of put it on her. So we don't know, man. It's going to be it's very interesting. It's one of these.
It's going to be hard because she's a real martial artist. I follow her on Instagram. She's a real martial artist. She doesn't care about anything else but martial art. That's what makes it difficult.
Got one for the from here in YouTube. Basic general question. What does a typical day in the life of an MMA fighter look like?
Well, apparently not all MMA fighters are made the same. I'm shocked by the programs of other people. But if you're a dedicated MMA fighter in training camp, you wake up and you have a morning session. It could be MMA, it could be jiu-jitsu, it could be boxing, depending on what you're going to. Then you come back, you have something to eat, some sort of snack. I have a snack and I take a nap. Then I go back in the afternoon for a couple more sessions, and then I go back to the house and I nap again until the next day, and it repeats itself for a good 6 to 8 weeks. For me, that process had been going for 4 months straight, so I'm a little stressed out right now. That's why I'm a little disappointed that I haven't fought, because it just takes so much work and so much discipline. You don't get to hang out with your friends. You miss all the birthdays. It's just the way it is. If you're serious. If you want to make it to the top. If not, you can just bullshit around and you'll be fine.
I got a feeling you're like a tiger in a cage, man. I feel bad whoever is going to be the name on the other side of that contract for whoever it is. I mean, having to wait that long, having that much frustration, putting that. I know you don't, because you get to unleash it all.
Nah, fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch, whoever she is. I don't care.
Hey, and it's no disrespect. It's just like, listen, you're the other name on the contract. I got some things I got to let off my chest. You're just on the other end of it. We'll be friends afterwards. I'll shake your hands and have a good day. I'll go get my check and do my thing.
For real. And I just like to compete, like after the fight, we're cool. We can go have some gin and tonics together.
People, and that's, I think, the things that people don't really understand who are not involved in MMA. They don't understand sometimes like how you guys can be cool with it. And listen, it's a competition, unless there's an actual real like legitimate beef. Most of the athletes get along, except for rare occasions. You just have people that rub each other the wrong way, and that's life. But like, I think people don't, outside of the realm of the combat sports world, they don't get how you guys could just go have a drink afterwards. For whatever reason.
Yeah, because it's fun. I love what I do, and I have a lot of things in common with my opponent. We pretty much have the same life. If I'm fighting some of the top people, now we have the same life. They are where they are because of their work ethic. So it's really hard for me not to like someone who does and likes the same thing I like.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're all different in our own sense. Like I say, you guys have your own stories to write. That's what makes all the combat sport athletes unique to me, in my opinion. That's why I just always love the opportunities you guys give me. It's just like a new onion. I get to peel a new layer from a new person. So like I always say, you guys all have unique stories. Even yourself did, if I remember correctly, you gave up other professions to pursue MMA. Am I not correct there?
100%. I used to be a culinary art instructor. I had the easiest schedule in the world, Monday through Thursday. I had a 3-day weekend every week, and I was getting paid a lot of money, considering I was living in Fairfield, Iowa, when I didn't have a lot of bills. So everything was very laid out, and I was getting ready to help open a tapas restaurant in Valladolid, Spain, where I didn't have to put a dime down. So things were going pretty good. But I don't know, there's something about martial art that, it just kind of makes my heart smile. It just really makes me feel better than having money, better than having a career. I can do all those things later on, but when it comes to mixed martial arts, it requires a lot from your body. So I'm doing that now.
Hey, take advantage of it while you can, because I'm sure that there's going to come a point in time. I guess you'll get back into culinary arts and find that again. But while this fire is burning, why put it out, right?
Exactly.
Now, before I get ready to wrap this one up, Helen, I typically throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you'd like to thank, anything you'd like to say, shoot out some love to your any sponsors you might have, any charities you're involved with, anything like that. The time is yours.
Just shout out to anybody that sends good energy my way. I do get a lot of support. And it's more emotional support than anything else. I mean, some money will help, but having people who have your back, who are actually happy to see you win, that to me is priceless. So shout out to anybody, even if it's people who don't necessarily know me personally or speak to me or interact with me on social media. If you're Team Helen, shout out to you.
And also, let everyone know where to get a hold of you, or like on your social media, where to follow your career and all that, so they can keep up with what's going on with you.
Both my Facebook and Instagram are under Helen Peralta. I also recently started a YouTube channel. You should go give it a go and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers so I can start putting on more content on there. It's Helen Peralta official, and on Twitter Helen Peralta 123, because apparently there are other Helens out there.
Well, definitely looking forward to whatever your fight announcement is. Hopefully it's what you prefer, regardless. MMA, big fight in bare knuckle, whatever it happens to be. Definitely going to be looking forward to it. I know you're going to be unleashing hell, so to speak, when it comes down to it. So appreciate the time, and definitely looking forward to having you back on here at some point in time. Hopefully after a big win.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thanks to everybody listening. I appreciate that.
All right, Helen. Appreciate it. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. All right, everyone. That was another episode of our Athlete Spotlight. When you guys get a chance, make sure you check out all that Helen is doing, everything that she's getting involved in, and showing her love on all her accounts. Also, make sure you guys are keeping up with everything we're doing over here at A2D. I'm sure the guys are going to be going live here shortly on our other platforms for our other shows. So that was another fun one with Helen. Make sure you guys keep tuning in for our Athlete Spotlights. I'm Steve. This was another great one, guys. We'll catch you later.